love the chase and the hunt, and I set the pace when I'm running. I always take what I want and I always give it 100. Don't need a bank, no I'm funded. Play the game like it's nothing. I'm always thankful for something. Don't take for granted, stay humble. Now wake up! It's time to look at the enemy. Look in the mirror if he is no friend to me. It's not working out.
Hello, Miami. Thank you so much for watching 305 Sports. Now, I am your host, Will. And let me tell you, man, I just got to say a few things before I talk about the game, which featured the Miami Hurricanes battling the Florida State Seminoles, the rivalry game, the FSU, the culmination of FSU Hate Week. I got to say one thing. Congratulations to Mauro Cristobal, as after the game, he landed the commitment of none other than Camden Portis. Yes, if that name sounds familiar, that is the son of Canes great Clinton Portis. So congratulations to Mauro Cristobal. Congratulations to, of course, Coach Chevis Jackson for bringing another top recruit to your Miami Hurricanes. So I'm very excited and definitely excited to see what the future holds for Camden Portis. But I got to talk about the game last night. But I'm going to first talk about Damien Martinez, but also talk about the game. Does that make sense? Yes, absolutely. Damien Martinez flat out balled last night. Okay, 15 carries, 148 yards, 2 touchdowns, averaging almost 10 yards per carry, right? Almost a first down per carry. And those were some tough runs. That puts him at a season total of 93 carries, 529 yards, 8 touchdowns, and averaging 5.7 yards per carry. A little lower than his 6.1 that he had at Oregon State, but nonetheless, still showing some great signs of being a very dominant running back this year. I know a lot of Canes fans were down on Damien Martinez this year just a tad bit, only because of the fact because he wasn't hitting the hole maybe as hard as, let's say, a Mark Fletcher was, an AJ Allen was, a Jordan Lau was as well, and the occasional Chris Johnson was. But the bottom line is, though, I think putting him at RB2 kind of helped him out and helped him get some motivation, because he's been flat out nasty the last couple of weeks since he's been coming off the bench behind Mark Fletcher. Mind you, he still gets a lot of playing time. It's not like he's not getting any playing time whatsoever. But the bottom line is, though, he has just been running angry and ferocious, and that is a Damien Martinez that we wanted to see when he was picked up in the transfer portal coming over from Oregon State. Okay, so even against Louisville, 12 carries, 89 yards rushing, 7.4 yards per carry, 1 touchdown, and that beastly 30-yard run in which he carried, it felt like, a bunch of basically the entire team of Louisville into the end zone, including some of his own guys as well. Just been flat out balling, and this is what you want. This is what you need, right, out of your running back. Okay, so the guy's got NFL potential written all over him. You can't beat a guy who's 6'1", 235 pounds. You can't tackle that thing so easily. I'm sorry. That young man so easily. He is just a load to bring down. And he's quick. He probably runs about a 4.4, high 4.4, maybe low 4.5s. Just, he's quick off his feet as well. Great hands as well. Great in pass protection. He's a very good all-around back. I think Mark Fletcher throughout the season is proven to be the best all-around back, but the bottom line is, though, he is coming. All right, he is coming. Like, no. You guys brought me in for a reason. All right, and I'm going to show you why I was RB1 in the beginning, and I'm going to show you, no matter where on the depth chart I might be, I am going to show you why I am the best running back on this football team. But let's go a little bit about the FSU game, okay? I know I talked about Martinez. I'm gonna go back to him again, but I just want to go about the FSU game because there's been some chatter from the fan base, and opinions are respected. We're fans. We're passionate about our team, but a lot of talk has been about, they expected more. Listen, I predicted a 52-13 blowout. I just personally felt like, despite the score, I just did not want FSU or believe FSU should get anywhere near 20 points. And that happened, okay? I predicted 52-13. The game ended up being 36-14. And that was a junk touchdown at the end. It wasn't like they were even close the rest of the game. It was just a junk touchdown. We had some of our reserves in the game getting some playing time. So that's just a little bit about that. So that's all I really have to say. But let's go further into the game, okay? FSU played well. FSU, the one thing people were saying about FSU is that they have a pretty decent defense. Their defensive line isn't bad, and they showed it. Okay, they showed the fact that they could pressure Cam Ward. Cam Ward threw for a little over 200 yards in the game. He did get a touchdown reception, but he did not have a touchdown pass during the game as well. They pretty much played a cover 2 throughout the whole game. or at least two high safeties throughout the whole game, and they dared Cam Ward to nickel and dime them. The one thing about this team that we've always said is that we did not understand why teams early in the season, especially, were selling out to stop the run and having Cam Ward just flat out obliterate them. And FSU did the flip side. FSU dared Miami to run the football down their throat, and Miami didn't just run it down their throats; they bullied it down their throats. There was no run to the edges whatsoever. It was, we are going to go hat and hat on you, right? Hat for hat on you, and we're going to flat out make sure that you regret your decision to play the pass, run the run, because they bullied Florida State. Miami finished the game with 445 total yards of offense, 230 of them on the ground. It was just a very monster performance by your Miami Hurricanes. And once again, before I continue speaking about this, I just want to say once again my condolences to Mark Fletcher Jr. and his family, as Mark Fletcher, before the game, not literally before the game, but a couple days before the game, lost his father. Okay, Mark Fletcher Sr. is a very tight knit family. It's a very close family, and we know that Mark played that game with a heavy heart. So I was very happy to see him get in the end zone, and he played exceptionally well as well with his 15 carries, 71 yards, almost 5 yards a pop, and of course his one touchdown in the game, in the first drive of the opening drive of the football game. So it's very nice to see Fletcher get in the end zone. And Mike, again, my condolences to him and his family as well. Very nice, very close knit family. Had the pleasure of meeting Mark's mom, his true freshman year when he came in as a freshman, and I met her at the spring game. I'm sorry, at Canes Fest. At Canes Fest. Sorry about that, guys. Had a little bit of a glitch here. So just want to let you guys know a little bit about that. So what are things that I told you? Okay, so some of the complaints about the only real complaint I do that I did express some concern is the fact that teams are getting to Cam Ward just a little bit. The last few games, Cam Ward has been sacked a couple of times. He was sacked against Virginia Tech. He was sacked or pressured quite frequently against Cal. He was sacked a couple of times against Louisville, and he was sacked 4 times against Florida State. That's a bit of a concern because one of the main reasons why Cam Ward got here or came here is because he was assured because of last season as well that the offensive line was going to keep him clean. Obviously, you're not keeping clean for an entire season, especially since you are the focal point of the offense and teams will go after you. But I am a little bit concerned that they've been running the ball very well, but they're sacrificing their pass protection, and that's something that I do believe they will course correct because we know Duke and we know how Manny Diaz thinks, and we know that team is going to come right after Cam Ward, no matter what he does. The thing with the Manny Diaz defense is that it's a high risk, high reward. In many cases, Manny Diaz, when he blitzes his guys, he leaves many parts of the field wide open for slants, for screens, okay, as well. And if you can hold protection, the deep ball in the middle of the field will be available for you, or maybe just a single high safety protecting the top side of the field, and you can blow the doors off of them as well. Also, I do think that Miami will push the running game as well because Manny Diaz's defenses, when they're having a bad day, you can run on them as well. And this is going to be the most physical line Manny Diaz and Duke will face. But I am concerned about pass protection because there were a couple of occasions where there was confusion. Where yesterday I saw Francis Mauigoa a couple times, who has, I don't think, given up a sack all year at right tackle, didn't know who to block on certain instances, and that got Cam Ward pretty much hit pretty good and dropped. Cam Ward is the essence of our offense. Okay, if Cam Ward goes down, our season is not the same. Yeah, maybe with a couple games, finish with a 10-win season without Ward. Yeah. Finish with 10 win season without Ward. Yeah, 10-win season. But Miami probably won't go undefeated without him. Okay, Cam, especially if you will have to bring in a new quarterback. More than likely to be Reese Poffenbarger. I think they want Emery to redshirt for next season. But the bottom line is, though, Cam Ward has got to remain upright because if he gets hurt, like what happened to Jordan Travis last year, Florida State was not the same football team. Miami won't be either. They'll have to rely heavily on the run as well. So we'll see. But anyways, bottom line is, though, that's the one concern, and that's the one thing that bothered me about last night's game, that I saw too many breakdowns and pass protection. Ward getting sacked 4 times and getting hurried quite a bit as well. But because of that, I do believe Miami was able to beat up Florida State at the line of scrimmage and run the football down their throats. People all complained that they didn't feel Miami was as dominant. I saw on some chats going through the motions. Well, Florida State again let's give the defense some credit. There is talent Okay, whether that talent's been put together or developed correctly, no. Okay, but there is talent, and that defense is that at least the secondary is pretty good. You can make a case for their defensive line as well to some extent, but the secondary is pretty good. All right, they're decent guys. Guys like Conrad Hussey and so on. Those are guys that people were after. All right, as well. So I just wanted to bring that up. But anyways, speaking of which, they sold out to stop Cam Ward. They got beat up pretty good. Miami controlled the line of scrimmage, guys. Miami was always in control of that game. 35 minutes at 35 and 23 seconds to FSU's 24 minutes and 37 seconds. 445 yards of total offense to FSU's 248 yards of total offense. Miami was in control, guys. Come on. Come on. Okay. And it just goes to show that Cam Ward doesn't have to be Superman every single game. If Miami is minding their P's and Q's, dots their I's and crosses their T's on both sides of the ball, this is a very successful ball team. I was having a conversation with a friend of mine at church. He's a big Georgia Bulldog fan, and he thinks Miami has really been tested. And he also believes that if Miami gets to play a real football team in the SEC, he's a Bulldog fan. Remember, they'll get mopped off the floor. He even told me that Kentucky team that almost beat Georgia would slaughter the Canes. I said, listen, man, I'll be very honest with you. I'm a pretty objective fan. Our secondary has been really bad since we entered ACC play, but no one can stop this team from scoring. No one can stop it. No team. This team is built for shootouts. I will say that. This team is built to shoot it out with you. Okay? They're trying to be, a complete football team. They want to have a dominant defense. The front four is still pretty solid. Okay? It's still very solid. And we have a good rotation of players at the DN position and also in the interior lineman position. All right? The secondary has been a disappointment. They played well against Florida State. They made plays and so on. Like I said, that last touchdown was a junk touchdown. But I want you to understand, all of you out there watching this, the SEC is not as good as it's been in years past. It's a very vulnerable conference this year, and the transfer portal has kind of leveled things out a little bit where a Vanderbilt can beat an Alabama or a Kentucky can challenge a Georgia. Okay, or an NIU could beat Notre Dame to add another good football team there, right, as well. Even though we all hate Notre Dame here, let's be honest. But the bottom line is that Miami's offense can keep up with any defense in college football. I don't think there's any defense that can stop Miami in 4 full quarters because the Miami Hurricanes, it just showed yesterday, if you decide that you're going to play the pass and eliminate Cam Ward's options to go deep or whatever, first of all, Cam Ward's going to get his. His checkdowns were effective, got him some first downs. He ran out of bounds and he got some yards when he needed to. He threw the ball when he needed to. He made very good decisions with the football. I am not angry at the way Ward played, but our running game is pretty beast, bro. Now that it's clicking, it's pretty beast. Our offensive line right now, run blocking with Jalen Rivers being back, is pretty beast. It's a savage offensive line. So you're going to pick your poison because if you play the pass, you leave your front seven vulnerable to the run. And that's the kind of football game Miami will love to play. Mark Cristobal will love to play. We're going to run it down your throats. And occasionally, we may balance it outside if you're figured it out. But the bottom line is if you sell out for the run and you give us one-on-one situations, Miami will burn you. Pick your poison. I don't buy the fact that the SEC and so on is so much better this year than the ACC. Virginia Tech almost beat Vanderbilt. Extremely close to beating Vanderbilt. Okay, let's not forget that. Miami beat the hell out of Florida. Florida's playing pretty well right now, but those are the same players, the same athletes, okay, that Miami whooped at the Swamp in week 1 in front of 89,000 people. Miami whooped them and embarrassed the Gators. It's still the same players. Even though it's a different team because of Lagway and they had a good game against Kentucky. Still the same players, guys. So that being said, ladies and gentlemen, this is a very good football team that needs work. It's not perfect, but they're getting the job done and enjoy it. We're 8-0, guys. 8-0. First time since 2017. Last year, we won 7 games. Should have won more. We won 7 games. We've already achieved one more victory than we did last year. And this team is still going to keep rolling. As long as Cam Ward stays healthy and that running game continues to go beast mode like it's in the last couple of weeks, who's going to stop us in the ACC? I look forward to Clemson. We'll see who the real big dog is in the ACC moving forward. All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you like what you heard, Please do not forget to like, share, and subscribe to the 5 Sports Now. Once again, I will stay safe. God bless you soon. Go Canes, guys. All about the U. Bye-bye.